Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Strom, and this morning I have the pleasure of interviewing Mark Ottestad from Coach4ldrs. Mark, good morning. How are you?
Great, Mike. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So I was wondering if we could start off a little bit by you telling us a little about your background and Coach4ldrs.
Love to do that. Well, Mike, you ask, what's the journey been like? It's been 4 decades of working in business, 4 different careers. My first career was hospitality. Second career was retail, sound and lighting, which we grew into a 100+ people organization with a national footprint. Third was an organizational development organization for Christian CEOs, which is an amazing journey. And now it's Coach4ldrs, Mark Ottestad, where I live in the coaching space. Coaching is a professional relationship with individuals that are driven towards extraordinary results. And that happens through a thought-provoking, creative process desired to maximize potential. So my career has been about people and maximizing potential. Today I call it connecting the dots. The dots that I connect are from the why to the what to the how, and I think I'm looking forward to talking to you about that and exploring coaching and how it's impacted me and can impact others.
Well, great, Mark. Thanks for telling us a little bit about your background and what you've done in your career and how you got to coaching. Now, I know in coaching you talk about the why, the what, and the how. So I was wondering, first off, could we discuss the why?
Love to discuss the why. So why? Why talk about the why? Well, I think the why, when you start at the end of why, is because it gives you unending energy to keep doing the things that you want to do in life. So we've heard this called mission, we've heard it called purpose. It's the why. So working on the why is such an important part to help you navigate the incoming, because the incoming, life is hard, business is hard, leadership is hard. And so when you have clarity about your why, when you hunker down to keep going forward, your why gives you what you need in order to do that. So that's why we start with why.
Well, thank you, Mark, for talking about the why. Now, second part is the what. So could we discuss about the what of your coaching philosophy?
Yeah, what is kind of at the heart of a lot of what I do, so I'd love to talk about that. So off we go into what land, and what is very interesting because it is just so broad. As you move from the why, and I certainly always refer people back to Simon Sinek and Know Your Why, a really popular TED Talk. In the land of what is a never or an always expanding reality. We can have 100 whats. What are you going to do next? And there's this long list of what's to do. In coaching, a big part of that process is to whittle down the what's into something that's your most effective next what to get you where you want to go. So how do you force rank those into the top 4 or 5 rather than the 100 that torture you? So how do you filter those well? A lot of that has to do with classic leadership thinking, like knowing what's next to do, why it's important, and what are the resources to get you there. That is the classic definition of leadership. So in the world of coaching, lots of the what's are this force ranking, is this why is that most important as we go back to the why. So what's could certainly be how are we going to market something? How are we going to, or what are we going to do with regards to an operational process? What are we going to do about hiring and getting the right people on the bus in order to move this thing forward? So that the challenge really gets to be is when a new what suddenly appears. So here's a new bright idea. A new bright idea could be, gosh, I want to buy another business. Gosh, I want to expand into a new territory. All those things take resources. They take people. They take energy. And so the leader's role is to really wisely assess what the organization can do to move forward and not be fragmented. So when a new what starts to show up, there is this moment of what are we going to shed away in order to really move that what forward. So what's are really fun, what's our expanding ideas, thinking about the possibilities, force ranking them, and really getting everybody to focus on what's most important for the organization. or the individual to move what they're doing forward. So what's are really fun.
Well, thank you, Mark, for talking about the why and the what. And now, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the how.
The how. How do we get it done? That's what we're going to talk about now. That's great. So the how part is really where a lot of the fun happens in coaching, because as you've got clarity on the why and you move into the what, that whole prioritization part, now the question is how quickly can we move into how to get that thing done? And so this is a very expansive type of opportunity. Who are the people that should be involved? How are we going to make this thing happen in this particular time frame? And so this becomes a brainstorming, creative opportunity of bringing in more ideation, really maximizing the opportunity, minimizing the risk, and really setting forth in the classic SMART goal setting type of thinking, how do we be realistic and really build a big, hairy, audacious goal in it? How do we be timely about it? How quickly do you want to get it done? How do we be accountable about it? So lots of coaching is about accountability, which is this, what are the 3 to 5 things that you're going to take care of in this next, for me, normally 2-week period that we're going to kind of readdress in our next meeting. So the how part is really fun, and what's interesting in coaching is that I'm usually never really part of the how. I'm not the solution. The solutions normally come in either building the capacity of the people that are already in your organization, or hiring people from outside to add capacity to the organization, or hiring consultants to come in for a part-time basis in order to move an initiative forward. And so that's all about connections, back to connecting the dots. How do you connect people to people who are highly competent and can really help leaders get done what they're looking to get done? So the how part is really fun, especially when you have that high five moment of, oh my gosh, we checked that one off, and then what happens? Oh, we have another what and another how in order to move the ball forward. So that's what makes coaching just really so much fun.
Well, thank you, Mark, for the why, the what, and the how. But before we wrap up, I would like could you give some final thoughts on coaching?
I'd love to. Final thoughts on coaching. Coaching is a most healthy experience. I'm coaching now because I hired a coach, still have a coach, that has drawn out of me who I want to be as I step into my really final season. And so I just encourage you all to find a coach. Some you pay for, some you don't. But the idea of being intentional about setting a target out a year from now and being proactive about moving forward in that, it's so healthy to have someone listen to you well, help you listen to yourself well, and to become the best you can be.
Well, thank you, Mark, for that wonderful information on your coaching. So if a client would like to call you for questions or set up a consultation for coaching, what's the best number to reach you at?
Well, my cell is what I live by, 714-267-2818. So I always have that close. Email mark@coach4ldrs.com. You can certainly get to my website, which is www.coach4ldrs.com. A lot of blogging there on best business practices, some blogging on who is God and who am I, some blogging on a project that I'm working on, which is the Do-Over Project, which maybe we could talk about another day. So thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, everybody.